There is a secret that most pro athletes, elite CEOs, and high performers all know. They all have a group of world-class coaches working for them to help them optimize their potential. At SuperAthlete Radio, our goal is to provide you with the caliber of world-class coaches and guests to help you unlock your potential, dominate your industry, and dominate your life. Let's get better today. Welcome to SuperAthlete Radio with our latest AMA Ask Me Anything episode. We're going to try and keep these episodes between 10 and 20 minutes. 3 questions today. How do I eliminate distractions? What is the best type of whey protein that I should take? And how often should I change up my exercise routine? So thank you guys as always for asking these questions. And I have some insight on all of these that I hope you'll find helpful. We're going to keep this concise, and we're going to keep it in a way that hopefully you can walk away with some good info in terms of how you could apply these answers to improving your physical and mental performance. Before we get started, if you guys have not yet left a review through Apple Music or Spotify or wherever you listen to this podcast, please do me a favor, leave a review. The easiest and most powerful way to support Super Athlete Radio is to leave a review, and it's totally free. AMA, ask me anything. The first question we received was, how do we eliminate distractions in our life? Big question, and where I wanted to go with that was from some wisdom from Miami Heat Vice President and former Los Angeles Lakers head coach Pat Riley. You know, we're huge on energy here at Super Athlete. There's really nothing in life that you do not enjoy more, do not get better at, or get more out of by the amount of energy that you're putting into it, right? The more energy you have, whether it's doing a podcast, whether it's making a sales call, whether it's competing on the basketball court, whether it's engaging with your family, the more energy you have, then the better that thing's usually going to go. It's a huge factor, right? So we're huge on maximizing energy and knowing what's going on in your body and what foods work for you and what food doesn't, and whether or not you have nutrient deficiencies, and eliminating sugar, flour, and vegetable oil, and understanding a great day of sleep. A great day starts the night before with a great night of sleep. All of these things increase energy, but there's also things in our life, I'm sure you know, like having a messy house is going to lower your energy, and or people and or things that are not in aligned with what you want to do in your mission. It decreases your energy and can be a distraction. And what Pat Riley talked about, he was really focused on this when he was coach of the Lakers in the 1980s when they won 5 championships, was this idea of peripheral opponents. So the Lakers' rivals in that time were the Celtics, the 76ers, the Pistons, the Bulls. Those were direct opponents, right? And everyone could get up and understand how to compete against those. But what Riley was huge on was understanding and figuring out how to eliminate the peripheral opponents. So he considered that wives, girlfriends, agents, family, the media, any of these kind of sources that could potentially take away from the mission and or the team's greater goal, of course, which is winning the NBA championship. So the question that I have in response to, it looks like Dexter from Wisconsin, who wants to know, how do I eliminate distractions? Is first, know exactly what you want. Second, do the powerful stuff that we consistently talk about in terms of getting your physiology right, because your physiology is going to drive your psychology. The better your physiology is, the better, more power and empowered you're going to be to eliminate those distractions. And then 3, my challenge to you today would be figure out what the peripheral opponents are for you in your world that are potentially distracting you from achieving your goals faster, if that makes sense. Pat Riley this guy knows what's up. He's got a ton of wisdom in his books, and he's proven it, right? In terms of if not Phil Jackson, then he's probably considered the greatest NBA basketball coach of all time, and he's still doing amazing things for the Miami Heat 40 years later. How do you eliminate distractions? Cut out the peripheral opponents. Okay, next question from Molly in Hawaii. What do you think of protein shakes? What's the best type of protein shake to take? How often should we drink them? Well, here's the thing with protein shakes. At SuperAthlete, I ran a supplement company before SuperAthlete. We had different types of protein. We've tested different types of protein. As the years have evolved and more, we have invested into upgrading the quality of our protein, because what I have realized, and I'm sure you can see by looking at the label, is that a lot of protein shakes are not good for you. Let's rattle off a couple reasons why here. One, most commercial whey protein powder is made from industrial dairy products and are loaded with artificial sweeteners that destroy your gut biome. Right? If you're going to get dairy, preferably you're doing it raw. And two, a lot of people drink plant-based protein, right? And plant-based protein powders like soy, pea, rice, those are filled with all kinds of anti-nutrients and lectins, like lectins and phytates. And they also frighteningly carry a really heavy amount of heavy metals, such as lead, cadmium, and arsenic. So, two-part answer to this question. Number one is, if you're going to consume a protein powder at this point, and if you're really looking for peak physical and mental performance, you want to go with a lab-tested, grass-fed, and finished raw whey protein concentrate. SuperAthlete, that's what we sell. A grass-fed, lab-tested, and finished raw whey protein. The other caveat that I want to add to this question is you don't want to get too much of your protein during the day to come from protein powders relative to the amount of animal protein you consume. And the reason for that is a high protein, low fat diet is not that good for you, because your body is designed to burn fats and carbs. And if you're eating, if most of your meals in the day are whey protein shakes, you're not getting the fat that comes with a grass-fed steak or that comes with, cage-free eggs. So make sure that the animal protein that you consume is much higher compared to the amount of protein that you are taking in from your whey protein powders. Because when you go high protein, low fat, it involves a bunch of multi-step processes that are really metabolically expensive. And it's going to leave you with less energy to dominate other areas of your life. So Molly in Hawaii, what is the best protein? Best protein is you want to go lab tested, grass-fed, and finished raw. And then also you want to make sure that you're getting the majority of your protein from animal sources. Okay? And then the last question that we have in this AMA episode is from Chris in Jacksonville, Florida, who wants to know how often he should vary his resistance exercises, his lifting, how often he should switch that up. And that's a great question. And it varies, of course, from person to person. And it also varies with your training level. If you're training already at an elite level, then you are going to have everything even more dialed in to get the kind of gains and improvements that you want. And it's going to require more changes in exercises frequently. So if you're training at an elite level, what I recommend is to, schedule out your training in 2-week blocks and have in those 2 weeks, you'd do the same workout 4 times in the workout, 1 to 4. Go for improvements in terms of whatever it is that you're going to improve, whether that's strength or hypertrophy, or the amount of reps that you can do, or whether it's speed, you're doing something with the sled or you're running sprints. But try and improve from day 1 to day 4, and doing those 4 workouts over 2 weeks. If you're training at elite level, and then every 2 weeks you're changing things up. There was a study that somewhat backed this up in 2022 in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning. Does varying resistance exercises promote superior muscle hypertrophy and strength gains? And what they found was, while some degree of systematic variation seems to enhance regional hypertrophic adaptations and maximizes dynamic strength, compared to excessive random variation, which may compromise muscular gains. So what does that mean? What that means is that changing your resistance protocols up consistently is a good thing, but you want to have a system in place in terms of what the program is. Okay? If you guys don't know, if you don't have a coach or a trainer that you're working with, you should work with one, because it's just the amount of brain energy that it takes to be able to get programs in place that are really going to help you physically and mentally dominate. You don't want to have to think about it. And what this article says is that if you're just going in the gym and you're just doing random stuff and you're doing different exercises every couple weeks, it actually can have a negative impact on muscle hypertrophy and strength gains. While also saying that doing the right amount of variability, which again I would recommend is if you're elite level, every 2 weeks. Maybe if you're training at a pretty high level, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. Change the routine up. Make sure you're tracking what you're doing, tracking your reps, tracking your sets. The fastest way to improve anything is to measure it, right? That's a business application that can be applied to all areas of our life. So the answer, Chris, is yes. You want to vary your resistance, but you want to make sure that you have a good plan and that you're not just doing different exercises for the sake of doing different exercises. So every 2, 3, 4 weeks, what I would do is I would change up the plan and see how that works for you. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Today we talked about how can you eliminate distractions. You can eliminate distractions by finding out who your peripheral opponents are via Pat Riley and cutting those out, and or figuring out how to channel that and to alignment with what your specific goals are. Also, what is the best type of whey protein to drink from Bali and Hawaii? And again, there's 3 factors you want to look at that. You want the whey protein to be lab tested, you want it to be grass-fed, and you want it to be finished whey protein concentrate. Again, bonus with that, you want to make sure that the amount of protein you're getting, most of that is coming from animal sources, so you're getting the right amount of fats. And then Chris from Florida, Jacksonville, does varying resistance exercises promote superior muscle hypertrophy and strength gains based off this research article? He wants to know how often should I be changing things up. Yes, it is beneficial to change things up based on your training level. The higher level of training you are at, the faster you want to be changing up exercises and doing different things, so because your body's going to adapt very quickly. But every 2, 3, 4 weeks, you want to switch that up. So I hope you guys found that helpful. And keep the questions coming. We're going to be doing more of these AMA episodes, and I appreciate your support as always. Let's get better today.